Thank you, Brody. Turning now overseas to the Middle East. Just days ago, CBN News reported on backlash caused by an Amnesty International report accusing Israel of being an apartheid state. As Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, one result of the fallout shines the light on a major issue basically ignored by the group whose mission is to end abuses of human rights.
The Amnesty International report concluded that Israel's cruel policies of segregation, dispossession, and exclusion across all territories under its control clearly amount to apartheid. Amnesty International said they use the international definition of apartheid. Apartheid most commonly refers to a South African policy of separating blacks and whites, which existed for more than 40 years. It ended in the mid-1990s.
Amnesty and the UN, which is going to be joining the effort, by describing Israel as an apartheid state, isn't getting it wrong. They're getting it the opposite of the truth.
Professor Eugene Kontorovich explains his conclusion in a piece published by the Wall Street Journal titled, "There's apartheid in the Holy Land, but not in Israel."
Israel is a country where Arabs participate in all walks of public life, hold positions in the government. In Israel, Arabs and Jews mingle in cafes, on buses, in all public places. But right next door, in those areas of the Holy Land governed by the Palestinian Authority, real apartheid is practiced.
Kontorovich points out the PA has a law that calls for the death penalty if a Palestinian sells land to a Jew. Back in November, CBN News asked the Palestinian Authority's prime minister about that law.
Land in Palestine is not a real estate issue. Land in Palestine is a political issue. So therefore, the Palestinian law does not allow land to be sold to non-Palestinians.
Another controversial Palestinian government policy is referred to as pay to slay. That program rewards terrorists convicted of killing Jews. The U.S. Congress passed a law called the Taylor Force Act, preventing the U.S. from funding this policy. It's named after an American, Taylor Force, who was killed by a Palestinian in a terror attack.
Israel is not sponsoring a program of pay for slay against Palestinians, whereas the Palestinian government, supported by Western governments, funds a pay for slay program to pay for the murder of Jews.
Kontorovich says through all its laws and policies, the PA has created a Jew-free zone.
When you look at the areas controlled by the Palestinian Authority, it's not that there's no separation of Jews and Arabs, there's just no Jews, because they have created a Jew-free state. And they enforce this through official methods.
Despite these policies, it's a situation seldom reported on by Amnesty International, the UN, and other human rights groups. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
All right, thank you, Chris. Gordon, back to you.
Well, it's about time we start calling it for what it is, and it is extreme racism. The anti-Semitism that comes out of the Palestinian people. It's not just the Palestinian Authority, but the Palestinian people. There are Palestinian neighborhoods where if you're Jewish, you cannot possibly walk there. You can't go there without fear for your life. There have been incidences where people have been dragged from their cars and beaten to near death. If you're a Palestinian and you sell land to a Jewish person, they will execute you. And it's not some vigilante doing it. The government will do it. They will sentence you to death. Let's start calling it for what it is. This whole boycott, divestment, sanction thing that's happening against Israel right now, it's complete doublespeak as to what's really going on in Gaza, in the West Bank, and in Ramallah. They put up statues and they name streets after terrorists and after bombers. They pay people to kill Jews. These are incredible things, and let's all as a world wake up to it. And above everything, let's stop funding it.